celebrating the power of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Doug Minter, Part 1.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible. I believe that anything is possible. The stories we tell week to week show you that anything is possible. And here's another story of possibility. My friend Doug Minter. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. It's an honor.
What's your official title?
I'm Director of Small Business Development at the Knoxville Chamber.
Prior to coming on the air, we were sitting here having a conversation, and what we do here on the set is there any way this camera right here can back out and see Chaz Aloni over there? Can you swing around and see Chaz? So Chaz is our DJ, right? And so we try to play music before each taping so that we can set a mood, set the energy, make it all right. And you were saying how much you loved Kendrick Lamar's "We Gonna Be All Right," right?
Yes.
And so Chaz started playing the tune, and you were singing along with it, and you were having a moment. Like, what is it about that affects you that deeply? We gonna be all right. What's going on there?
Well, if you look at everything that's going on today, be it society, be it business, be it community, be it the nation, there's a lot of tough issues, right? And it's one of the few rap songs, hip hop genre, pieces of music that has a positive hook without being naive to the issues that are going on today.
But it's like is there a part of you that needs to hear that right now in your
Absolutely.
life?
I'm a hip hop. Right. I grew up with MTV. I brought it. My generation brought MTV to the plate, and so hip hop and Yo MTV Raps. That's how I came into adulthood.
Wow.
So that resonates with me, and I think it resonates with millennials. And it resonates not only in the street, but it resonates in Wall Street because they make money off of it.
Well, welcome to our house. Welcome to this palace of possibility. And the reason I wanted you to be on the show is because you're one of those possibility people. We go way back, and we'll get to your career current day, but let's kind of roll back to the beginning of your life. Where were you born?
Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Tell me about growing up in Oak Ridge.
Well, I was actually born in Knoxville, and as soon as I was born, family moved to Oak Ridge, and Oak Ridge is cool. It's one of the most unique places in the world, albeit the place where the uranium bomb and plutonium was advanced in this country makes it a scientific community and very diverse. And so it was great to be in that town. We were used to being around energy and science and technology. That's every day for us.
Who's we? You have brothers and sisters?
No, I'm an only child.
You're an only child, but you're talking about mom and dad. Your father worked in Oak Ridge. He was a very successful politician in Oak Ridge. Speak about your dad.
Yeah, my father worked at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory and worked at the various names of the defense contractors who ran the lab when it was Union Carbide and Martin Lockheed and Martin Marietta and all the various changes. But he worked diligently for the lab and recently retired.
Seeing him work that hard, seeing the kind of man that he was, what did that do to you?
It showed me the value of consistency, the value of tenacious loyalty. Not just loyalty, but tenacious loyalty. Everyone says, I want to be a man that, my word is my bond. His word was his air.
Really?
Absolutely.
I mean, what did you see that confirmed that for you?
How everyone else in the community rallied around him. It was almost as if they waited for him to be inspired by something, be it, hey, we're going to have a house party. We're just going to have a party for everybody who wants to come by. and to watch the reaction of that. So much so that socially, they waited on my father to do something, to initiate action. And that was so impressive, and it was so nice to see how everyone else respected him.
Wow. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick up there and move into your life and how you were shaped and how this guy ended up going to join the Marines, fight in Desert Storm, and has a passion for a more hopeful future for this country. This is Doug Minter. You're watching Anything is Possible. We're going to be all right.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
There's probably no major civil rights leader living that either hasn't been to our house or I didn't get to meet because of my father.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill, and my guest is Doug Minter. So we were talking about your dad. His word was his air. He set a model of consistency, and you said tenacious
loyalty,
right? When we were in the break, though, you got emotional, just like that. What's going on?
My father's left so many imprints and footprints, and is continuously doing that to remind me of what's really important, the principles that are really important. And when I take my output and compare it against that, I'm challenged to be better.
Really? So he gave you a lot to live up to?
Oh, I'm definitely not there.
So where is there? Describe for me the things that you feel like you're supposed to do to live up to the name Will Minter.
Well, I think I'm supposed to live up to the Minter name as well, because that came from my grandmother and my grandfather.
What is that name? What does it mean?
The Minter name?
Yeah.
One, being devoted to God. Your principles come from God, and your actions follow those principles.
So you grow up in Oak Ridge, you have a powerful father who lays down an example that you got to run to keep up with. You like that or not?
Absolutely. Because he never took away my desire to dream. He said, dream, go do what you do. Just follow the principles.
So what was your dream?
Oh man, I think that's one of the things that I think my father and I joke about is I've dreamed and lived so many lifetimes. In high school, one of the things that I wanted to do more than anything in the world was to be a doctor. And bought a Grey's Anatomy book. My uncle, who's a physician, Dr. Fred Oliver Hardy, who's a physician in Memphis, sent me a box when I was 9 years old of all of the pieces of the body. The pharmaceutical firms used to, you got the foot, you could take it apart, and the brain and all of that. And that fascinated me so much about people and about how the human body worked. But I quickly realized that academically, it was not being the doctor that God was pushing me towards, but it was being of service to people, being of service to the anatomy of how people live, the anatomy of being someone who helps increase the quality of life for other people. And I think that's why I went into the Marine Corps. It is one of the reasons why I love that experience so much, because it was about the anatomy of people. And it was about the anatomy of leadership. So I approach everything still from that childhood, childlike naivete about the anatomy of something. Okay, well, where are the major bones in this project? And where's the soft tissue in this process, so that I can find the gaps and the solutions? And I really feel like God blessed me with the ability to be an X-ray, to look at situations and problems and come up with creative strategies and ideas around those.
So you went to the University of Tennessee, and my notes tell me that you studied political science.
Yes.
Well, when you studied political science, your father was an elected official.
Yes.
Did you think you were on that path, that was the path of serving people through public service?
Absolutely. You know, I considered law school and even considered being a JAG officer in the Marine Corps. And so that was the natural route. And I was also fighting fires for Deschutes National Forest in the summertime, co-oping and coming back to school. And I felt like, okay, if I get a law degree, I can leverage that. And once I graduated from the University of Tennessee, a lot of things changed. And I got bit by the entrepreneur bug. And shortly after that, I saw the difficulty of political life on my father. And, you know, the highest of heights, you know,
lowest of
drafting
lows.
policy with Bill Clinton, you know, hanging out with, you know, every major political civil rights leader known to man. There's probably no major civil rights leader living that either hasn't been to our house or I didn't get to meet because of my father. And so that it was great, but I got to see the
The
tough
other
side
side.
of the mountain.
What'd you see that made you go, whoa?
Well, I don't think it's one thing. I think it was a continuum. Remember when he first ran for school board, he had to go out of town for work. And he said, son, the election's next week. I have to go out of town for work. Will you pass out flyers for me running for office? I said, yes, sir. Took a handful of flyers, went and knocked on doors, said, will you vote for my dad? He was probably 11 years old. Just running for school board. And then when he came back in town, I was walking home from school, Willowbrook Elementary. I was walking home from school, and there's a cat hanging from the front door in Oak Ridge, scientific community, more PhDs per capita than many cities around the world. But yet, you're gonna hang a cat from our door for school board? And so there's been continual little things that you see, the infighting, the jealousy. Who does he think he is?
And this is your dad,
And this is my father.
a man whose word you can count on,
Count on.
a man of tenacious loyalty,
Tenacious.
and he gets treated this way.
Yeah. And once I got to the University of Tennessee, I began to really become more self-aware about who I really was. And God said, I'm gonna take you where you need to go because you're too undisciplined. You chase everything, you chase the wind, so I'm gonna force you to go where I need you to be. And that led me to valet parking. Of all things, as my first route into entrepreneurship.
I've got something here. This says Solar Dome, conceived by Wilbert D. Will Mentor. This right here, when you first told me about this, and maybe this is part of what you saw that you could be creative, you could work hard, you could play by the rules, yeah. So now now the song makes sense to me. Now the song makes sense to me because, yeah, so you go through all of these ups and downs in life. You get disheartened by the hardness of life. But the only people that survive are the ones who say, yeah, but
We gonna be all right.
we're gonna be all right. And so you saw your father do that over and over and over and over again, dealing with the injustices of whatever life was at that time. And all he wanted to do was add value.
He's a giver. Our entire family are givers. I literally don't know of a mentor man in my family that's a taker. I don't know of anybody in our family that's a taker. We try to give. Even in our worst, we're all flawed. I've made tons of mistakes. But no one can say we don't give.
Let's take a break. When we come back, what's on this sheet of paper? I'll tell you about it. This is Anything is Possible.
Coming up,
I knew the whole world was mine because I saw the Sunsphere every day. From the time I was 8, 9 years old till now, every time I see Knoxville, I see my father.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. This is Doug Minter. Let me read something to you here. It says, the Oak Ridge Solar Dome would serve as a general attraction for Expo 82, providing a unique energy structure that will echo the involvement of Oak Ridge in the energy field. This dome would be located at the present site of the Chestnut Bridge Park and would serve as an overlook for the entire city. The solar dome itself would contain a restaurant and a garden area that would reflect the use of solar energy. The restaurant would be an exclusive eating place serving fine foods. A garden area would consist of exotic plants and flowers that would allow tourists a view of the beautiful greenery year-round. And then it goes on to describe all these different things. This is the concept for what we know in Knoxville as the Sunsphere.
Yes, sir.
And he never got credit. Well, he was not recognized as the person who came up with the idea for the Sunsphere until when?
Yeah, 2, 3 years ago. Yeah, we did a private ceremony with Mayor Tyree, who was mayor at the time, and Mayor Brown, who was mayor recently when he was mayor. And Mayor Burchett, some others gave him open acknowledgement for his contribution to Knoxville through creating the idea. Now, he's humble and says, well, maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was two great people, two sets of folks that came up with the same idea at the same time. Solar dome, Sunsphere. Hello, lights.
Right. So as I'm unpacking your story of possibility, you're parking cars trying to find yourself. You're watching all of this stuff go on behind the scenes, though, and maybe that's part of what made it hard for you to land anywhere, because maybe you didn't think, if I land somewhere and I give my heart to something, if I'm a man of my word, if I have this tenacious loyalty, this is what you get rewarded with.
Probably.
So why didn't you give up? Why did you decide we're going to be all right?
Because it doesn't matter about the acknowledgement. It doesn't matter about the kudos or who gets the credit. It matters about what did you produce. I was talking to my dad last night, and we were debating principles. That's when you know you got a great father, when you can debate principles. And I said, well, Dad, we were debating what was our favorite verse in the Bible? Favorite parable or story, specifically about Jesus. And I said, I love when a woman who had committed adultery and the Pharisees said, okay, Jesus, what you gonna do? Law says we should stone her, what you say? And I love the fact that he paused and wrote in the sand. And I always was mystified by that. I said, I love that, Pop. I said, why was he putting his finger in the sand? He's never done that before. It's not like, oh, get ready, Jesus, get ready, write in the sand again and then say something profound. It only happened once. Why did he do it? What was he writing? What is the significance of that? And then he comes with another parable that's higher than that one. And so that you know, so those principles are things that we would banter about. And I think for me, the reason why I loved that verse so much was writing has always been my first love. And my mother being an English teacher, it's like I just had to go back home a little bit. I had to slow down I knew the whole world was mine because I saw the Sunsphere every day. From the time I was 8, 9 years old till now, every time I see Knoxville, I see my father. How can I not love this place? How can I not love the University of Tennessee? How can I not love the mountains and Oak Ridge National Lab and everything that it has to offer the world? Despite who got the credit, despite what was stolen, my daddy still made it. You can't take that from me. But it's not about just me. Every kid that looks like me, that lives in this place, that works in this place, that plays in this place, should know that story so they can have the inspiration. For the inspiration to reside within the Mentor family is not enough. Inspiration needs to be everybody's, right?
Right. Let's take a break. When we come back in our next episode, part 2 of our story with Doug Mentor, we haven't talked about going to war, and next time we'll talk about what war taught you. You're watching Anything is Possible. We'll see you next time.